what is up? Welcome to another episode of Christian Market Watch. In today's watch, we are going to cover company inflation being 35%. That is insane. And we're also going to talk about the relative market between the Australian market and the US market. Definitely stick around. Good morning, Christians. Good morning, warriors. And welcome to the first episode of Chillie's Christian Market Watch. Why I decided to start this series is because I see a lot of financial YouTubers out there who are sharing a lot about what they know, and I myself have been following finance for a little bit, as you might or might not know, and I kind of really feel like there's a very lacking in all these practical things that really make a difference when it comes to the Christian life and the Christian walk. There's a lot of pastors that can tell you how to be holy, how to love God, and how to love your neighbor as yourself, but they don't really tell you how to take care of your financial well-being. And I just kind of want to bring that perspective here as well. Now, I am also learning. By no means do I know everything. In fact, I am a very, compared to what I need to know, I feel like there's so much more I have to learn. But I just want to come with that perspective for you, and especially let you know if we are hitting anything in the markets and in the economy that we see that actually has a Christian significance, like things of biblical proportions, like a stock meltdown, like the 2008 financial crisis happening again, that is like a pre-shadowing of the final financial meltdown that we all know we are going to face. You know, even the non-Christians know that this is what is being expected right now. So I just want to let you know as soon as I know, in hope that this will help you decide what to do. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I am going to do, but hopefully that at least provides some sort of a, oh, someone else is doing that. So maybe we as a Christian community will not be so vulnerable when it comes to these things, and hopefully that helps safeguard us a little bit. So today, let's go into have a look at Market Watch. What is going on at the moment? First of all, I like to go to CNBC, basically because they have this little section tab up here that makes things really easy to have a look at everything all at once. So let's cover a couple of big headline news at the moment. Today, NVIDIA stock falls on light guidance. CFO says company will slow hiring. Wow, that's crazy. The computer I'm using right now, which is a very good computer, is using NVIDIA graphics card. So that's very interesting for me. And NVIDIA reported fiscal quarter earnings on Wednesday. Okay, first quarter earnings, that's fine. Stock dropped in extended trading after the chipmaker gave a light forecast for the current quarter. Okay, so let's have a quick look at what is actually happening to this company. NVIDIA will slow down its hiring pace and control expenses, okay, as the company deals with challenging macroeconomic environment. Now, macroeconomics, that's the thing that I want to bring to you to have a kind of view as to what's going on, which is really, I've never heard any pastor in my life, okay, explain things about that. But we are getting to the point where things that macroeconomic are not so far away anymore. They are kind of starting to impact our daily lives. Like, they are impacting, like the other day I went to buy plain flour. It used to be $1 last year per kg. It's now $1.25. It's a 25% increase. And you're wondering what is happening. And unless you know what's happening in the global space, in the big players, big market, big governments kind of arena, you don't really know what is actually happening. Like, you're just wondering, how come my money's worth so much less, and how come I have to pay $2 Aussie dollars a liter of gas? That's crazy. So a lot of times when companies see an increase to their cost base, they don't necessarily react quickly to like increase prices, because regulators and stuff like that, and the markets and the consumers, people are less likely to buy anything like bananas at the markets last week Bananas increased by 25 cents a kilo from $2 to actually 50 cents, $2 to 2.50 last week, and like just nobody bought bananas. But if you sold it at $2, that's the price that people have in their minds, that bananas should just cost $2. If it costs $2.50, that's too expensive. And so consumers are very price sensitive and have an idea, especially those savvy moms who really know how to do shop and know the price of everything. They just know, and consumers just know when things are getting too expensive. So they usually don't like to shop with like whatever company. For example, you're buying computer chip like NVIDIA, or buying bananas at the grocery shop, buying beef at the local butchers, like it doesn't matter. People just know when things are too expensive in their minds based on past experience and every week shopping, that they are really averse. Okay, so usually when prices increase, the first thing we see for big companies, maybe they have 1,000 employees plus, what they usually do is they just absorb it in their profit and loss statement and basically pay their shareholders less. Yeah, so this is what we're seeing here. So this is what they're expecting, but the stock basically dropped more than 10% because they gave a light forecast for the current quarter. They are making less sales. First of all, 8.29 billion versus 8.11 billion. Now, that's a lot less. $180 million less than expected. So that is very significant, like thinking that it's a global company, right? But there's heaps. There's not a lot of people that would be able to have so much of a cut to their incomes like you and I, that would be able to sustain our current lifestyles. Let's just put it that way. Earning per share 1.29 expected. So I think it used to be 1.36 if I'm reading this correctly, and now it's $1.29. Now let's see, pop the calculator, 1.29 on 1.36. So that is like a 6%, almost 5 to 6% drop in their earnings per share. You can think of the earnings per share as basically like if I have one stock in NVIDIA this quarter, it's supposed to pay me $1.36, which is not a lot. But it's now 5% less than that. So not only am I paying so much money paying for my gas, but my investment incomes have eaten up 5% of my income through inflation. That's the way that we're supposed to see things. So it just continues to talk about this kind of crazy. Wow, so analysts were expecting even higher. They were expecting 8.54 billion. That's a lot. How much of a cut is that? Let's quickly look. 8.1 on 8.54. This is also almost a 6% decrease. So the same thing. So I feel like the earnings per share at the moment just reflects that. It's facing a challenging macro environment. The CEO Jensen Huang said that. And wow, this one is crazy. The company's operating expenses increased 35% year on year to 1.6 billion. That is crazy. 35% year on year. That means inflation is 35%. If you used to earn $100, now your $100 is only worth $65. Like, wow, I could not pay my daily expenses or my rent if my operating expenses increased 35% year on year. That's heaps. It's crazy. Oh wow. And this is insane. Right now, the latest release, Consumer Price Index in Australia, is telling us that inflation supposedly is something like 5.1% at the moment. And look at this trend right here on the right. In the most recent quarter, it's gone cray. It's just skyrocketing up to 5.1% from a usual benign, gentle little 2% that the the powers have been trying to keep it so low in the government, and mainly it's home prices and fuel prices, which is actually 11%, but they just average it out. They found something low to offset the 11% so that this graph wouldn't be like at 11% right now. But this is crazy. NVIDIA is saying that they have seen not an 11% increase in fuel prices, they've seen 35% increase to the cost base. Let that sink in. That's crazy. All right. Total sales was supposedly up. Data centers grew a lot because everyone's working from home now. And also gaming increased because everyone has nothing to do and we can only be stuck at home either gaming or watching Netflix, right? This is crazy. So what we can really see is that from this article, the big companies are really suffering now, and it wouldn't be long if they can't, like right now, NVIDIA is saying, okay, let's just publish that. We have no choice but to tell our investors. And that's how they usually work in a big company like that. They try to contain it until they can't contain it, usually a bit late based on what they see already. They probably let that sink in for the last 2 quarters or something and not really tell anyone. And then finally they couldn't hold it in anymore. They then tell the market, right? And they know it's gonna have a hit on their stocks, which is not a good thing. No. Probably some investors will sell because of this and ditch the company, so they don't want to do that. And then they bear the weight. They finally see the inflation come through, and then they increase, because sometimes they're like, oh, is it transitory, like is it a temporary thing? So right now what I'm seeing is that big companies can't hold the inflation that they see in anymore, and they blame a couple of things, don't they? This is our scapegoat, our new scapegoat of the quarter: Russian war in Ukraine and COVID lockdowns in China. It's not just the recent Russian war in Ukraine now, is it? Now, and it's not the COVID lockdowns in China right now, is it? It is something that has been hitting our supply and demand chains worldwide since 2020. In fact, probably since June to September 2019. That's something that people don't tell you. It's a long time pain that, like, if you broke your arm for 2 years, 2.5, and you don't fix it, of course you're gonna see a 35% year-on-year increase, aren't you? It's pain, guys. What I'm hearing here is just sheer pain. And in other news, and I would only cover this quickly because I'm in Australia, ASX is to rise today. So this is the beginning of the trading day. It's not yet 9 a.m. So what actually happens is ABC News is really referring to the CNBC article right here, where stocks are rising after the Fed signals further rate hikes, and the Dow Jones, which is the industrial average, jumps nearly 200 points. That's good, I guess, because it's recently just been plummeting and cratering like cray. Are they saying to us how much? Oh, they're just warning us that the Fed is prepared to raise rates further than the market had anticipated. So today everyone woke up and go, you know what? Like, the stock market has been dropping for the last couple of days, and everyone has been taking money out of the stock market and putting it in US debt market. But then today they woke up to the senses finally and go, hey, you know what? Maybe the NVIDIA readers they're saying inflation is not going away. In fact, it's gone worse, 35% year on year. maybe they woke up and realized that the gas is still up by what 12%. Maybe they had to fill up their car this morning and realize basically that the Fed needs to raise rates further than the market had anticipated. For what? For what? They're trying to contain inflation, but they can't. And in fact, this is just a game they play. They have to keep pumping money into the financial system and the monetary system and inflate the money supply. Like an inflatable, jumping castle balloon, whatever. And if not, the whole thing is just gonna go and like deflate on itself and collapse, just like a jumping castle when you let all of the air out. Let's take a breather right now. Dow Jones Industrial Average right now. This is the 1 year view. As you can see, it used to be really high, about 36,000, and right now it's dropped heaps to maybe 31,200. Right now it's jumped up apparently by 200 points. It's still very, very low, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's more action happening. And I'm not sure right now if this action is just, I don't know, I think it's just a lot of investors being very, very fidgety. They will jump at any news. In the last 5 days, it's still very low. So I would say that there's still a lot of fear happening. What I would be interested to see is the trend from here on out. Is it gonna go back up there? Are the people having more senses to try and realize the macroeconomics that's happening here and thus trade it up, or are they still going to be fearful and trade down and take the money out of the stock market and put it in the debt market? Because right now there's a lot of big players in between the stock and the debt market. It's just moving money around because everyone is trying to avoid a recession right now. The Fed wants to say anything so that this trend line here will keep going up. And Australian wise, ASX usually just largely follows the US stock market unless something between Australia and US is significantly different. So guys, that's our lovely Thursday. I hope that you and I stay level-headed. Are we going to the end of Revelation, to the biblical proportions of a complete financial meltdown? Well, right now, I don't think so. Eventually, I think yes, obviously, because God's word's gonna come true. Is it gonna come true in our lifetimes? I think it's very highly probable, but we will keep on watching. As you know, the day and the hour, nobody knows. But this is the best thing we can do, is to keep a watch on where money is moving in and out, because as they say, if you control the money, you control the world. And if you want to know the world direction and where everything's heading, you need to pay attention to your money. Who's got my money? Who's eating, stealing my money? So yeah, God bless you. I hope that you got something out of that. This is the first of many in the series. I'm going to try and do this daily and hopefully have it published before 9 o'clock in the morning so that you and I can wake up and enjoy some beautiful coffee, tea, water together. Now, if you like that, please remember to hit the subscribe button and the like button and hit the notification bell. Really comment below and let me know what you think about where all of this market is heading, or have you even heard of any Christian leaders talking to you about the market before? I would love to know what channels are doing this on YouTube. So if you don't mind posting down there, because I did a quick YouTube search this morning, I couldn't find anyone who daily updates you on what is actually going on. So if you see that, if that is something that's of interest to you, be sure to subscribe, because every day as I post, you will be the first to know. God bless you, warriors. Keep fighting for freedom, keep fighting for God's truth, and keep holding hope and faith in your heart to know that even if the whole thing craters and falls down into oblivion, Christ's kingdom is only going to come back and establish a completely new financial system for us, where everything will be fair. You won't have these inflations going on, and his righteous government is true and hopeful for us. You and me, we know what is going on, so we don't have to panic as the world panics. And we can look forward to Christ's return if we keep holding our hope in our heart very firm and convicted in Jesus.